Welcome to South Florida saltwater fishing. I'm Heath and it's Labor Day weekend. Unfortunately, we have Tropical Storm Gordon that has formed off of the southeast coast of Florida over the weekend. I've had the boat on the trailer twice, out ready loaded to go, but it would be rather crazy to even attempt going out on the water today. So we're going to do a sort of indoor special. I'm going to go over what I have in my tackle boxes. Before we get into this episode, do us a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button, give this video a like, and if you have any comments, suggestions, questions, leave them for us and we'll get back to you. Alright folks, it's go time. Let's do this. So, we're going to start with my Inshore tackle box. So the first key, as you can see, to having a successful fishing trip is having some sort of organization. As you can see, both of my tackle boxes are organized fairly well. I can find anything should I need to switch up my game plan at any time. It's almost like a kid with a dirty room. If you put away all their stuff how you would like it, they couldn't find it. So, you know, have some sort of organization so you know where everything is. So, up on the top here, I've got some hooks. These are what I fish for mutton snapper with. They are it's a 1/0 hook with a swivel on the end of it, kind of for but it's an octopus hook. You can see the eye bent backwards, and I got a little swivel on it. That makes it for so you don't get cut off if something with teeth come and get you, and it makes it a little bit so that the hook will pull and set real good. I use those for mutton snapper fishing at night. Also underneath it, I've got some gold hooks for ballyhooing. In the same little compartment, I've got my swivels that I would attach to those 1/0. I use eagle claw. You can go with mustad, whatever you want. Going further down the line, this is where I sort of put all my hooks that I kind of take off if I'm bottom fishing. They're random hooks. This, in the last episode, I got a yellowtail jig out of a grouper. This is that jig. He ate mine and he had that in his mouth. These are just random hooks that I cut off periodically, and they will eventually go back into a certain spot wherever I want to, but you know, in the heat of the moment, I don't want to stop what I'm doing. Next, these are my 1/8 ounce yellowtail jigs, double hooked, pre-ready to go. These are from Hookup Lures. They're pink. Then I've got white. These ones happen to be from Yellowtail Candy. I can just tell the difference from the way they're shaped. They're white 1/8 ounce yellowtail jigs, double hooked. And then these are my go-to lures. These are the chartreuse colored double hook yellowtail jigs, ready to go. And up here I have mustad 1/0s, which if I run out of yellowtail jigs that are double hooked, I grab one of these, or I can also use these on knocker rigs, anything that I might need to sort of just use a single hook on. And up in the front, Dramamine. I've got a de-hooker if I catch some live bait that I don't want to touch, goggle eyes, ballyhoo, whatever, blue runners. This is up here is just an assortment of little rigs that I make. Right here I've got a stinger rig. See the treble hook on the end of it. I got a 5/0 J hook on it. And it's just, these are just things that I use in case barracudas or mackerels come along, and they're really taking advantage of the fact that I'm fishing with mono. So that is this compartment up here. That's for the toothy critters while I'm on the reef fishing. Next, I've got a couple of gotcha jigs. These are very good for when the mackerel come around. I think they're 1.5 ounce, 1 ounce gotcha jigs. in my next compartment, so this next tray basically, so the top tray is all my yellowtailing stuff, and while I'm busy on the reef, so I can just sort of flop the lid open and it's all right there. The next tray is all of my hooks, really. So these are my 5.0 J hooks that I've made into double hooks. So in case I want to flatline something out with like a sardine or something, they're there. These are 5.0 J hook single, bigger fish. If I'm ever don't have this box around and mahi swim around the boat, they're good to go. This next compartment, I have sabiki rigs and hooks that I'd like to still, that I haven't opened up the package in. These are 3.0 sharp beak octopus rigs from Mustad. Again, more sabiki rigs. I like to use the ones with fluorocarbon so that the fish don't see what you're doing. More hooks and swivels. And I believe I have, yeah, I have a duster down here for if I flatline out something for mackerel or bonita. Next, I've got a couple of bigger, like 1/2 ounce yellowtail jigs that I don't use. And then I have some 8.0 hooks in case I get something rather big, or I need them, like I said, and they're not here, which they're right here in my offshore box. Next tray I've got is my sinker tray. Now, if you can see, I have all the sizes labeled and the weights. This comes back to that organization thing we were talking about. Right here, I have little dropper sinkers, and these are for the sabiki rigs. Up here, you can't see, these are my favorite weights for using knocker rigs. Yes, it is a bass weight, but this is, I find this to be the optimal weight for making a knocker rig out of. That's a 3/16. They don't make it in an egg sinker, so I buy the little bass weights, they're fine. Then I have 1/8 ounce weights, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 ounce, 1 ounce, 1.5. Back here hidden are 2s, and then 6s. These are for if I'm bump trolling, I'll hook those on with a rubber band, get the bait way down deep, and sort of keep the bait down where the fish may be, and then I can have something up on top. Then down in my bottom, this may look a little bit of a mess, but it's actually not. What I have here is my leader, 40-pound trilene. I've got my my pliers. Got a pair of scissors for cutting bait. Got a bait knife, which comes in handy all the time. Then I have my Cigar Red Label 20-pound. I have a secret stash of yellowtail jigs, which are all sorts of different weights. And I've got some this is 12-pound Cigar Blue Label. That's for when I would go out and catch some gogs if I need some fluorocarbon. They're being frisky. I've got 20-pound Momoy and smoke colored in case I get spooled and I need to put some line back on a reel. Then I've got 12-pound Momoy in case, same thing, if you get spooled or you lose half your line, you want to splice your line back together and fill it back up. That's what that's for. Next, I got a brand new package of 1/0s for hooking up yellowtail rigs. I've got some pre-made wire cable. I like to use this clear coat from Eagle Claw. That's in case you don't have wire leaders that you're prepared to make, you can go ahead and use those. Then I've got more 1/0 hooks, some 3/0 hooks, and this is a stash of unused 1/8 yellowtail rigs. So these will get the 1/0 hooks on them. Alright, so that's basically the organization for my reef fishing box. Now we're going to head over to the offshore box. So I just want to say something about organization. Everybody's got their own different way of organization. I have mine, you have yours. The pros have theirs. Other people may look at that guy and go, no, he's not organized at all. But it's the same concept as the kid whose room is ultra dirty to you, but they know where everything is. As soon as it gets cleaned up, they can't find a certain thing, anything. Organization is per the person. What counts is that it's effective for you, especially when it comes to fishing. The game plan always changes at a moment's notice, and it needs to be functional so that you can switch up your game plan. If you find yourself fiddling through, not being able to switch up anything in a timely manner, you might want to consider formulating some sort of way to work through this situation. You almost have to premeditate what we in fishing like to call the Chinese fire drill. So now we're going to go through, this is my offshore box, my trolling box. Again, organization. Up here we've got hooks. These are my throwing jigs. Down here I've got squirt squids, swivels, couple of dusters, and down here is my lures. Alright, so up top, these I've got double hook 5/0 J hooks with a swivel on the end. These are good for, you know, that swivel on the end gives you a little better swaying action for a hookup. It also gives you a tiny bit more for not getting cut off. This is, these are just J hooks, standard, no swivel on the end, double hooked. These are singles. Schoolie dolphin come around, tuna, bonita, anything. You want to flatline something out with just a single hook, good to go. And right here, I actually have double hooked. These are 8/0s. So in the other box I got singles, but these, so if I'm trolling for something bigger, and I want to put on bigger strip bait or something like that, good to go with that. Up here, up in front, I've got a couple of spro jigs. They're good for throwing if you see stuff popping by weed lines, floating debris, anything. Spro jigs are really successful. They're kind of the way to go. Highly recommend them. I've also got these flat jigs here. I forget what they're called exactly, but if you want to slow troll these behind the boat, when the little bonita come through, this flat tends to be streamlined in the water, and it's excellent for small cirros and for those tiny bonitas. I've got another one in yellow, double hooked, good to go. I also have a small cigar sinker for you know, getting the bait down a little bit bigger. Sorry, a little bit deeper if I'm going for, you know, to try and cover the water column. Over here, I've got some dusters for the live bait or for flatlining something out. Great for kingfish, bonita, tuna. Going forward, these are all squirt squids, little tiny 1/4 ounce squirt squids. I like these ones. They look like little baby dolphin. Everything eats baby dolphin. Next, I've got an assortment of swivels, snap swivels. Here, these are a little bit bigger. Then I've got barrel swivels for connecting to my leader and the lure end. I would connect a snap swivel to my main line. Then I've got, I know these sizes are bigger. I don't know exactly what size they are. These ones I know are number 7 snap swivels. They're from Mustad. And then I've got number 7 barrel swivels. I mean, from Mustad also. Now, put those away. Now down in here, this is the goodies. This is the box. This is the portion of the box that's very important, especially organization and getting to it, because you got hooks everywhere. But right here, I've got 2 Turbo Slammer billy baits pre-rigged. They're rigged with 5/0 J-hooks, about 5 feet of 40-pound mono, number 7 barrel swivel. Turbo slammers in blue, iridescent, and white. These are my go-to trolling lures. You can hook strip baits on them, you can troll them with ballyhoo, you can do anything with them. But if I'm just going strictly lures, no bait, these are definitely the way to go. They catch everything. I've wahoo, dolphin, tuna, bonita, kingfish, everything eats these things. All right, next I've got a couple of sea witches, which I highly recommend if you're ever strip baiting or trolling ballyhoo. I would go with the sea witch before I do these. Also before I do a skirt. A skirt is sort of old school. Sea witches is the new theory, the new thought. And they're high hookup rates. You see all the charter boats, they'll throw strip baits with sea witches. Next, I've got a deep diving dolphin lure, which, as you heard me say a minute ago, everything in the ocean eats dolphin. This is a 30-foot diver, so if you're trolling at, you don't want to go and do 14 knots because this thing isn't going to act properly. But if you, I put my boat in about 15 to 1600 RPMs, which gets me going about 4 to 5 knots. This will troll down about 30 feet. You're covering the water column. Great lure. Everything eats dolphin, even dolphin. Next here, I've got a couple deep drop jigs. These are offshore anglers. One is blue mackerel, the other one is a goggle eye. These ones only have single hooks, still just as effective. Next, I've got a plethora of billy bait turbo slammers. As I said, these are my go-to lures, so I tend to carry 4 or 5 extra ones of them. If I get cut off, they're there. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 extra ones, 6 and 7 already rigged. So I got 7 of those, just to prove to you that, that is my go-to lure. Next, in here I've got rubber bands. These are for hooking up live bait. You put it after you let your live bait out about 100 yards. You hook one of those on with a 6-ounce sinker, let it go down. It'll be way back, but then you're bump trolling. You got your bait. You're covering the water column. I've got these are treble hooks for making stinger rigs. I've got the world famous Islander. If you don't have one of these in your trolling box, get one. They work. Most people that I know that are serious avid saltwater anglers that have been trolling have Islanders, especially the blue and white. Mine is a little yellow because of age. All right, next I have, these are bigger 1-ounce squirt squids. Oops, we were getting a phone call, but I guess they gave up on us. All right, so back to it, sorry. These are squirt squids. I got a couple in dolphin color, one that's green and orange. They hold 1 ounce in their heads instead of a 1/4 ounce. They're bigger, for bigger fish, I guess. Next, I've got a little tuna lure, bubbler. You can see the holes in the front of it. You drag this, put a double hook on it. Tuna love this thing. And down here I've got the old school, I've got another bubbler. Sorry, this is an older one. It's in pink and white. Standard trolling lure. It's top only though, it won't dive. You can put a weight and the weight will go down in front of it, get you down a little bit, but it's really going to be a topside lure. And then down here I've got an assortment of skirts. Blue, pink, red. But I don't really go to the skirts anymore. I kind of leave those as backups. And I've got a pair of scissors. Always have scissors. They cut, they pull, they do everything. You need them. So, this is my assortment of offshore stuff. Again, I don't have everything. different people will have different stuff. They may look and go, no, that guy's got it all wrong. This is what I use. Well, every fishing is fishing, and it's not catching, remember. So this is what I tend to use. You can get a basic idea, a feel for it, and go, hey, I might want to try that. Or, no, this guy's a loony. He doesn't have a clue. I'm just making this as an informational video to show you what I do and how I go about things. All right. So, that is my two tackle. All right, folks. So, that's it for the tackle box tour. I wish I could have taken you out this weekend on the boat, but tropical storms and all kind of put a curveball in our program. So, regardless, as you saw, I have a multitude of lures and different tactics that I can apply for changing up the situation at a moment's notice. Fishing does not have an instruction book. It never goes the way you plan, for sure, as you can see. And you just have to be ready and prepared to do anything. Don't ever go out and be like, I don't need that. It's not going to happen, because when you do and you get there and you go, oh man, I wish I brought that one lure. Throw it aside, leave it there. You may never use it, just have it just in case. So that's it for this episode, folks. We hope to see you Thursday for our tips and tricks episode. And until then, South Florida saltwater fishing. I'm Heath, and that's it. We'll see you next time.